Hey guys, it is NCS Fan 001 here for another one of those weekly trophy list update videos. Today's date is Monday, July 25th, 2022. So this will have covered the week of the 18th through the 24th of July of 2022. Anyway, this was not a particularly productive week. I wasn't even really online a lot because this was just a really hectic week, both IRL and with doing some other stuff for YouTube, because you guys might have seen the videos come up by now, but I actually ended up doing that Fallout New Vegas video I had been talking about for a while, to trying to get kicked out of every casino with a 1 luck stat. So I was working on getting everything filmed and written and then edited together for that. So that took up quite a bit of time. Then I did the last part of the Call of Duty Vanguard handgun only run. So finally got that done. Had to edit, export, and then upload that. It's like an hour-long video just of the last 2 missions. So thankfully got that done. It's no longer hanging over my head. And then I've also started working on the Modern Warfare 3 handgun-only challenge run video, edited down, because I haven't done one of those in quite a while, where I actually, edited it down so that people could see it in a much shorter format. I've been kind of lazy about that, so I haven't done that recently, but I started working on that. So I was really, really busy with, getting videos and stuff prepped and working on some editing and such. Plus, it's just been very hectic with work recently. I'm not going to go into all the details. I'll probably go into them on my next stream. But basically, we're on our 5th manager, and in the last 6 months, because I started in February, and we're on our 5th manager now. And there's crazy turnover and all sorts of other bizarro stuff. So, yeah, it's been an adventure, to say the absolute least. So that's been... It hasn't necessarily all been bad, because I'm getting, like I sort of mentioned last time, I'm getting more recognized on stuff. But it's definitely, there's stress in there and exhaustion and stuff like that. So, yeah. Plus, I'm wondering if I have a little bit of long COVID symptoms with being a lot more tired recently. That's entirely possible. So anyway, as for actual trophy progress this week, it was done in a total of 2 games. Because like I said, I didn't even really get to play that much this week because I was so busy with all that other stuff. So the main game I worked on this week and have nearly platinumed is A Plague Tale: Innocence. So at this point, I have now completed the story, so finished all 16 chapters plus the epilogue, so it's technically 17 chapters. It's not that long of a story. You can beat everything in probably, I don't know, maybe 8 to 10 hours, probably, to get through the entirety of the story. Some of the levels are really, really short. Some of them are a lot longer. And it's a very good game. I had a lot of fun with this one. It was very enjoyable. It's definitely one of the better, I would almost say, more indie titles that I've played in quite a while. The story's pretty solid. The gameplay is definitely more unique. I mean, you're not used to really using a sling and alchemy as your weapons, so they did a good job with a lot of it. There are a handful of things that were a little bit frustrating at the very end, namely in the very final chapter. Part of that was because I got a checkpoint at a really bad time at one point that made a section a little bit harder. And then the final boss battle, the fact that there's a final boss battle in this game felt really, really weird and kind of out of place. Not maybe the best choice ever, but I mean, overall, I really, really enjoyed the game. So, aside from completing the story, which is going to get you a huge chunk of your trophies, you have to find all the flowers. I want to say there's 13 of those. You have to find all the curiosities. I can't remember how many of those there are. I want to say it's 25 or 26 or something like that. You have to find all of the gifts. There's around 10 to 15 of these. Or it might actually be more than that. I think there are more than that for gifts. But I actually ended up missing one, and it was completely unintentional. I actually missed a few throughout the game, but I went back and got all the others. I'm saving that last one for my last trophy, just so I can make sure to catch it on video. I'm probably not going to live stream this platinum, just because I only have a couple of things left, and I would need a guide possibly for the last collectible, because I can't remember exactly where it is. So then, the 2 main sort of grindy trophies in this game are to fully upgrade your sling and your equipment. The reason being with these that there's barely enough materials to do it in a single playthrough. I think if I was a little bit more careful with ammo management and maybe didn't upgrade the alchemy stuff at all, I might have been able to get both of them fully done because I'm actually only missing exactly one more upgrade for, I think it's for the equipment. I'm just missing exactly one more upgrade. So that's all I've got left for this trophy. It shouldn't take too long because there's apparently a way to not really farm materials, but apparently once you've beaten the game, you just go back to Chapter 9 and play the game straight through until you get enough materials to upgrade for the other trophy. You're supposed to just focus on making sure you get one of the 2 trophies done on your first playthrough, and then go back and do that for, a quarter or a half of a playthrough. You have to craft a total of 100 ammunition. This one's pretty much unmissable. The 5 alchemist carts are another type of collectible, but they're a really helpful one because they contain lots of materials. Then we get to our level-specific trophies, or chapter-specific trophies. This is in, I think, the very first chapter. It's pretty early on in the game, before the Inquisition arrives. This one is... What mission was this in? I want to say maybe like chapter 2 or 3. I think it's chapter 2 is where this one is. You just have to find an apple tree in the village and give it to Hugo so that he can have an apple. This is in, I believe, the 4th chapter. You have to sneak up behind him. This one is in maybe the 6th chapter. It's an area where you can just basically make it so the rats go and kill a soldier to get past him, but there's another way to do it that can allow him to survive. This one was in the 1st chapter where they get to the castle and you can explore it. This is in chapter 10, I believe, because you have to kill the 2 front door guards instead of like sneaking in around the side. And it's not that hard because you can just use the spell that removes, or not spell, but the alchemy that removes their helmets and then kill them with a rock. Like, you just have to make them lose your trail in stealth, so it's not terrible. This one was in maybe chapter 11 or 12. This one's slightly trickier because it's very easy to screw up. You have to be careful with your materials in this one. This is considered by many to be like the hardest trophy in the game, but it's really not that hard because the only hard part is at the very end you have to get through a door before the captain gets there, but it's not that hard. You just have to run kind of quickly at the end. You have to get a little bit lucky to not get spotted, and you have to have a good route for it, but it's not too hard. And then this is in the final chapter of the game. It's sort of an, I guess you could say, Easter egg or just secret area in the final chapter, or chapter 16 technically, because 17 is actually the final chapter because it's the epilogue. So yeah, really enjoyed the game overall. Just, like I said, that final chapter was a little bit odd with the boss fight and everything that maybe didn't make the most sense. I will also say, I want to ask you guys, does anyone else get definite Last of Us vibes, Last of Us 1 vibes from this game? Because it's, 2 characters traveling together. You have the younger one that's being sort of escorted through it, that's a lot more helpless for most of the game, but at the same time might have some kind of cure for a plague that is infecting huge amounts of humanity, and the crafting system is fairly similar and the limited resources. I don't know, I definitely felt like this had a definite Last of Us inspiration to it, but let me know if you guys agree with me on that. But yeah, all I have left is to fully upgrade one section of the equipment, which should maybe take another hour or 2 of getting materials from those early chapters, depending on what it resets me to, as well as find the final gift, which will be the last trophy, and then I will be done with this game. And then I will auto-pop it on PS5, because you get a free upgrade to the PS5 if you have... either if you have the PS4 version of it, you can get a free upgrade, and then you get a free Platinum Trophy with it, which is awesome. Otherwise, I obtained exactly 1 Platinum Trophy this week, maybe 10 minutes before this video was recorded, because I wanted to make sure I had more than 1 game played this week and actually obtained a Platinum Trophy. So, our church in Halloween has released another Pinball Machine, and unfortunately, since I did the original Our Church in Halloween RPG series, it means that I have to do their terrible pinball mini games. Because, you do 1 game, you gotta do the whole series. I mean, that's just a rule now. With this game, it's just as easy as the first one. However, I got pretty unlucky with this one, because on my first 2 tries, the ball just shot straight through the hole at the bottom really quickly numerous times. Whereas on the run where I got the Platinum Trophy, I was able to get all the needed points without the ball going through the bottom once, so I had all 3 tries left. So it's entirely luck-based, honestly, as to whether or not the game decides to give you a good run. So it's possible to obtain this Platinum Trophy in under a minute, or it might take 4 or 5 minutes like it took me, because I just got really unlucky. But for the Platinum Trophy, all you have to do is score 1,000 points in a single game of pinball. Just like with the first one, you have 3 tries, 3 balls to get it. Now, you might be wondering, where is Pinball Machine number 2? I guess it doesn't exist because it's not here and it's not in the store or anything. And this game was actually really hard to find in the store, like they hid it away almost. But yeah, Pinball Machine number 2 isn't there, so I guess the developers got literally so lazy they couldn't remember to make a second game before the third title game in the series for whatever reason. So I have no idea. It's Breakthrough Arcade Gaming. They're not exactly known for their high quality of games. And also, I want to say that they've taken it to another absurd area now, because a few of their games, they've gotten 2 or 3 games that are basically visual novels that can be done in like 5 seconds by mashing the X button. But before now, I don't think there have ever been any breakthrough games that had more than 12 or 13 trophies. I think it's always been around 11, 12, or 13 trophies total, to where they're all just gold trophies. But this game literally gives you a trophy for every 25 points, which means every single time the ball hits an obstacle on the pinball machine up until you hit 800, you get a trophy. And then the remaining 4 trophies are just 50 points apart, so 2 hits apiece. So you need to hit things a total of 40 times in a game. And just the fact that they now have a game with 36 total trophies is honestly pretty absurd. Not to mention, of course, this game stacks. It has a European version that's also only 99 cents. So you can literally now get 72 trophies. And I don't know why I'm saying literally so much in this. I think I'm just tired probably, because again, it's been a long week. But nowadays you can get 72 trophies in, probably under 2 minutes if you're lucky. And if you're less lucky like I am, it might take 5 or 6 minutes, but still 72 trophies for almost no effort. That's the state of trophy hunting these days. So that was actually all I got this week in trophy progress. Like I said, I knew that this was not going to be a super long video with a lot of productivity because, again, it was just a really hectic, busy week with stuff. Now, I do want to go ahead and say a major important thing to mention about server shutdowns. I've talked about the Ubisoft server shutdowns that are coming up on, I believe, September 1st, which are a bunch of the Assassin's Creed games and a couple other random games, but surprisingly not Far Cry 2. They actually brought it back and fixed it to some degree, which is really, really surprising. So, the main new server shutdown announcement came from our friends over at Guerrilla Games, who have now stated that both Killzone Mercenary and Killzone Shadowfall will be going down on August 12th, which is only 3 weeks. Like, they only gave us 3 weeks notice for it, which is really weird because for their other Killzone games, they gave us the full 3 months or whatever it was. And I want to say their own terms and conditions say that they have to give us, or that they're supposed to. They probably don't have to, but that they're supposed to give us at least a 90-day notice. So I'm legitimately curious to see if anyone tries to, Better Business Bureau them or make complaints about that. Or I wouldn't be surprised if there are people crazy enough to try to file a lawsuit about it, even though they would lose. But the most important thing to get out of this is that Killzone Mercenary and Killzone Shadowfall are shutting down on August 12th, so you have less than 3 weeks now to knock them out. Killzone Mercenary doesn't have a lot of online trophies, and they honestly are not that hard. Probably 10 to 15 hours total to get them all knocked out. So they're really not hard, they just take some time. So you could still finish Killzone Mercenary for sure, provided you have maybe 1 or 2 people to boost with, so you don't have to do the more difficult trophies in Bot Zone. You're going to do most of it in Bot Zone, but there's a few things you're going to want to do with another human player. As for Killzone Shadowfall, you're probably SOL at this point because the base game's multiplayer takes a good 30, 40 plus hours, probably around 40 hours to knock out. in bot zone. So, and there's also that one challenge that requires you to have another human player, but you can knock that one out in like 5 to 10 minutes. As for the DLCs, Insurgent, I want to say it has 100% online trophy for getting the online collectibles. It has 5 trophies related to abilities and weapons and such from the multiplayer. You might still be able to do those in bot zone, though, once the game shuts down. So you might still be able to get those, but I'm not 100% sure. It's possible you just won't even be able to do bot zone anymore. That's entirely a possibility. And also, it's going to be really sad to know that there will no longer be a functioning online Killzone game outside of the remade servers for Killzone 2, whatever people did with it, because they did something with it that allows some people to, I think, still play online. That's kind of sad though, because with that, Killzone's gone. We haven't really had a major, I guess, first-person shooter franchise come out of Sony in a really long time. Killzone was sort of the main one, and now it's basically gone. This franchise is presumably dead now because they're just focusing everything on Horizon. And for the Intercept DLC, that one does not take anywhere near as long. You can knock that one out in 10 to 15 hours, depending on your skill and how much you do it in co-op. But presumably, people have said that all the trophies in that are actually going to be unobtainable because it's no longer even going to be a playable mode once the server's shut down. And even if it was still playable and you can actually do most of it solo, there is one trophy for 50 revives that would no longer be possible, but we will have to see. So with that, level 789, 73%, 23,807 total trophies, 633 platinums, 3,998 golds, 6,324 silvers, 12,852 bronzes. Plans for the upcoming week: I'm going to finish off Plague Tale Innocence and auto-pop that PS5 version, so once I get that done, I'm going to be getting started on Black Ops 3, unless the boosting people desperately need me for something in either Far Cry 2 or one of the Killzone games, just because those are, well, Killzones are shutting down and Far Cry is inconsistent. So we'll see about that, but for the most part, I just want to finish off this game and then hopefully go back and get started on Black Ops 3. And of course, I'll mention The Division because you got to take another shot because I mentioned it again. If you're making a game out of that, please, for the love of God, don't do so because it'll probably end very poorly for you. But yeah, that is really about it for this video. Please like, favorite, share, comment, subscribe, and ring the bell if you haven't already. For schedule this coming week, it should be much more normal. There should be at least one stream this weekend. So Friday, Saturday, there should be at least one. Hopefully there will be 2, but we'll have to see. Hopefully I'm less tired this week and all. And otherwise, video schedule should be pretty much normal. So, yep, that's going to be it, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video, and see you back here for the next one.